Let's blow the police station up.
Fire!
Now, it might be hard for you sitting at home to understand why people do this. Are they just plain mad? Are they little kids? Or really, are they frustrated rally drivers?
Absolutely.
As the sun creeps up from nowhere, they all gather in one place. A joke, a laugh, a look of anticipation on their face.
I'm in deep trouble now. Don't put me in with a sailor. Help me if you can.
That voice isn't going to help. It's cold, hard bribes these cops are after.
Oh, no, hang on. First suck of the sand.
As the money headed for variety, Bash director John Flower heads for jail.
John Flower, eh? I've got a warranty for your arrest, sorry. Oh. Yeah, can I use my radio communications to get out of here?
With our only hope at a clean start now behind bars, it's every basher for himself. The old fire truck wants to be first away, and no one's about to argue. And so begins the 1989 Red X Bash from Bourke to Broome, louder, longer and tougher than ever before. But the Bourke constabulary had warmed to the wacky races, and it was clear at the bridge out of town that they wanted us to stay.
We need the money for the tunnel. Mick Reiner's got his tunnel down the city. We need ours up here. $25, thank you.
I paid for it at the other cop back there.
Or at least they wanted our money to stay.
Oh, it's on the other way. Oh, $50. Thank you very much.
Hang on. Oh, that's low. Hang on a second. We've been taken.
We've got a bad attitude, you two. Pay up.
$60. $70. Come on, move it.
The ability to cheat in the face of adversity is essential.
$100. The red back there?
Thanks, mate.
There's later.
Yeah, have a nice... Just
Improve your attitude, though.
Hi, Bourke.
The big wet of early '89 had taken its toll on outback New South Wales. The off-road sections out of Bourke were underwater, and the colourful convoy is ordered to stay on the bitumen. That in itself often a challenge. The flooded roads tested patience and skills. This is where we find out if our cars, and more importantly our eskies, are waterproof. A few puddles for the big kids to play in. And some mouthfuls of dust to eat. Certainly, a taste of things to come. The end of New South Wales, the end of day one. We come to rest at tiny Roma in Queensland. With morning comes a quick scrub, then a hearty breakfast. We have to get used to this. You see, while the towns and scenery change dramatically, the brekkie menu will be the same day after day. Forget your cholesterol, forget your diet. This is the bash. Time for some running repairs.
There's no motor under the front, did you realise that?
Time to remind ourselves about those kids. There will only be one winner of the bash. The variety kids are the real winners of this event.
Got to have the music right, mate. Most important thing of the car.
From Roma, it's on to Blackall. One tiny speck on the map to another. But they're out to make the most of it. A beer garden all the way out here. Now there's a sight for sore throats. But you get the feeling life wasn't meant to be this easy. Just ask the bash's first casualty, Len Vine.
Well, we were coming down there probably a little bit fast and hit the top of the mound here and straight up in the air. We just lost it. She just went straight over to the right and just couldn't correct it. Well, I think we've ruined the control arm, the wishbone, top and bottom. We might be working all night, but we'll get back in.
It's that she'll be right mate attitude that will keep this rally alive and kicking. Now back when these cars were new, Chico rolls were all the rage. And now, a word from our sponsors.
Oh, those Chico rolls. I just can't wait to get into this one. So fresh. Out back like this. This really builds you up. Beautiful. Couldn't be better.
We've got corn and asparagus and beans and beetroot. Delicious. Grown straight out of the can up here.
It's obvious by now we'll need a lot more than good food to get us to Broome. The oldest car, the 1927 Nash, is faring well. After all, when she was built, the roads were pretty crook. When the legend of the Black Stump was born, it happened right here in sleepy Blackall.
Oh, pretty baby, don't bring me down, I pray. Oh, pretty
And perhaps a few more local legends were born the night the Bashers bashed Blackall.
In the bar back, I hope the hospitality is sure to bring you back.
It's entertainment aplenty, a sheep shearing display, even a yabby race.
Come on, all you Reddick guys who have yourselves a ball. I hope that little city will please you once more.
Some had to work, but that outback entertainment just didn't stop. If you know what I mean. Look out, Kylie! The 1,000 bashers may remember Blackall. It's unlikely Blackall will ever forget the 1,000 bashers.
What come out? Smoke come out, yes.
Like so many others along the way, Kev and Nora are fascinated by the passing parade. Armed with a coffee, a tea, and a Jason, the trio manage a wave and a comment for each and every vehicle.
You like the pink ones, don't you?
As the stragglers were farewelling Kev and Nora, the early risers head off in search of what normal people would call trouble, what these people call fun. This is what they'd come for, to pit their machines against the elements. The pack is now well and truly off-road, some more so than others.
Gareth, the four-wheel drive in front of me has just flipped, mate, so get everyone to stop behind you, quickly.
This special section from Winton to Mount Isa separates the men from the boys and the girls. 5 cars roll, but the battered bashers survive to play another day. Of course.
Of course they're going to carry on. I mean, I just feel sorry for the car. I think I got a headache. That's going to have a real headache. The whole roof's caved in. With bombs, we'll get there, never fear. God, I got a headache.
Now there's always room for some culture. And today we visit a murky pond with a difference. You see, once a jolly swag man camped by this very billabong.
Once a jolly basher parked by a billabong under the shade of a battered car bonnet. And he drank as he laughed as he waited for his car to cool, singing "You'll Come a Red X, a bashing with me." Down came the order to bash on to the water hole. Walkabout Creek, home of Mick Dundee. And he drank as he stuffed that Big Mac in his tucker bag, mumbling, "You'll come a Red X, a bashing with me."
Many cars would end this section much worse than they started. And secretly proud of that fact, these two sinister characters, Bash director John Flower, road director Clint Dawkins.
Very good.
Had it been wet? How wet had it been?
It's not been wet at all here. It's just about, it's not drought conditions, but they've had very little rain here.
Great. That'll be a good ender for Mount Isa, then, won't it?
This has just been, topped it right off.
Great stuff, mate.
Volvo number 27 rolled 3 times. The damage was horrifying.
My poor Eve's little round sunglasses. That was the most important thing of the whole trip, boys. Here we go, folks.
For a time, a short time, crime filled the streets as bashers set out to eliminate their arch rivals.
You want to see the size of the padlock they've got on your door?
Had to happen, but we'll get you back again, don't worry. They started it.
I know, we haven't finished yet. We've got 7 days to go. 7 whole.
And the local cop was practically joking himself. Too busy, in fact, to slam a defect notice on this old Mercedes. She's consuming 3 litres of oil every 10 kilometres. Oh, what the heck, only 3,500 k's to Broome. On the bitumen, even the old London cab leaves her for dead. Predictably, she gives up the ghost. While our next stop is Cloncurry, home of the Flying Doctors, Merc mechanics out here? We think not. Out this way, all tracks lead to the Isa. An empty coal train ushers us in to our next stop. Mount Isa, and the world's largest city hosts Australia's longest bash. We're halfway, and the cars are feeling the strain.
This is a Ford, you can build hell out of it.
Officially, it's a rest day. Unofficially, it's a repair day.
We're just putting a fuel filter in here because some of the fuel out here is a bit dicey, so we just want to make sure we don't get any dirt in the carburettor.
The local service station owners and wreckers get closer to a comfortable retirement.
The whole 7750 we sell them out.
Just for the axles?
No, we only don't part them.
As the desperate search for parts, small and large, takes over the town.
One of the girls in the team is out ringing around Sydney, Brisbane, Melbourne, anywhere we can, trying to get parts shipped in for us. But we're not having a lot of luck. A lot of the parts are no longer available for the old girl, so we've got a few second-hand bits and we're trying to scab a few from wreckers and bits and pieces, but we'll get there. We'll make do with what we've got.
But finding the stuff's only half the battle.
Fellas, this is the first time we've done this bloody thing. So I tell you what, it's going to be looking interesting when we drive out of Mount Isa. We might be back here in 10 minutes.
No worries, mate. She'll be right on the night. Now, when the sun went down at the Isa, so too did the tools that had been working so hard all day, and the boys and girls put on their very best clobber for the halfway Bashers Bash. Now, if you think these people drive hard and fast, well, you should see them party.
Sportsman! Hey, up, mate. Oh, yeah, come back, mate. Yeah, you haven't got rolling at all. Caramba, let's party, senor! Hey, arriba, arriba!
It was a star-studded party. Jackie Legs Love did her bit to keep the spirits high. And country music's golden boy, James Blundell, got them heavy-footed toes a-tappin'. And Mount Isa's finest moment in entertainment is just a commercial breakaway.
The things you do to make a quid. Okay, now, what we got? $5,000. Who we get the $5 grand for Age of Reason? The Blues Brothers, right? We got $5 grand for Age of Reason. This is
now that's how you make $45,000 in less than 10 minutes, all for the kids.
And if we look behind us, there's a rain. There's a rain coming. Wind blowing in. Well, what do you expect? I've got to have the music. It keeps me going. Carrying us forward to a new age.
Knock 'em up, son. Knock 'em up.
What about the world around us?
But the world around us didn't look so crash hot next morning. On the bash, punishment comes in many forms. But then, so does inspiration.
Well, it is tough, but I think probably we've even got the hardest part to come up in the territory.
All cars have been specially prepared. Rob King is the first paraplegic ever to compete, and his old Holden required some extra special attention.
It's been great fun to date, and the people have been kind to us because we were able to get accommodation by people offering the use of their houses, especially the people in northern New South Wales, up here in Queensland, have been fantastic.
The only sympathy he wants is for his car. He says that's getting just as much of a hiding as the best of them. And then, as for the worst of them, it's the army boys from Perth left to clean up that mechanical mess, rescuing the absolute no-goes. This could go down as one of the planet's longest towing jobs, from central Queensland all the way to the opposite end of the Northern Territory. Bad luck, yep, but a much smoother ride than the rest of them. Day 7 has marked the end of all previous bashes. All it means today is another fuel stop at the halfway point in the toughest bash of all. Central Australia is dotted with tiny towns just like Camberwell. 70 kids go to the local school, all but 3 are Aboriginal. Today school books are down as the Red X Circus hits town.
The winner!
It's what this bash is all about. The kids of Australia. 730 kilometres to Tennant Creek, and you guessed it, we're going the long way. But we're used to that now. Since our start at Bondi Beach, it's been a long, winding road through New South Wales, zigzagging our way across central Queensland. And now we have to literally bash through the territory before thumping along the home stretch across Western Australia. It's not that the crews have become blasé or anything like that, but today's border crossing into the Northern Territory certainly lacked pomp and ceremony.
Across the continent they'll journey, through the outback hot and dry. A marathon I've made shiver, but with a special reason why.
A beautiful Tennant Creek sunrise. The morning dew crystallises the parched outback. So what?
Good morning, sir. Can we see your driver's licence, please?
Get real. Most of this leg is spent in a cloud of dust, but we were told later the scenery was indeed spectacular. The yellow submarine was having a great time until this section.
Watch me propeller! Watch me propeller!
And now everybody knows subs are no good in the desert. I guess this is what camels were invented for. You know, sometimes life's just like this.
Straighten them, bring them left over this way.
All hands on deck, full steam ahead. Renner Springs, a breath of dustless air. A cold drink, an unbelievable petrol queue, and if you're brave, a chance to cool off with the crocodiles.
Hang on.
And then time to chuck yet another snag on yet another barbie.
181, you're in problems? Yeah, we just punched through the side. You've got a defect notice over here.
Another day, another defect.
Come here, Pip.
And another debt.
It's about $50 on the going price.
Oh. How much is it?
$200.
200? Oh, I thought he just said 50.
$250 now.
200? What did you say, Pete?
$300 now. Go.
Oh, okay, here we go.
$300.
1, 2, 3.
Thank you very much. You make good money.
Thank you very much.
When it comes to charity, these cops write their own rules.
Can't move this helicopter till that's removed.
The bash is over for the chopper, guys. Sorry about that. Is that a beer?
I'm not flying in this machine, Terry Lee. I'm going to have to take your official helicopter sign off now, I'm afraid. It's going to have to be stripped right off. You are debarred.
Faced with the prospect of 1,000 angry bashers, the local cops allow the crazy convoy back on track. Eventually, it's g'day to the locals at Kerry Packer's Newcastle Waters property. It's 35 degrees, dirt and dust. We need a shower. We get one. Well, sort of. You know, it ain't much, but tonight, it's home. The wonderful natural acoustics of the wilderness, drowned out by an orchestra of hammers, grinders and welders. It's largely due to the superhuman efforts of the mobile workshops that the bash has made it thus far. These mechanical magicians fix anything, anywhere, anytime. Blokes like Hayden Carkeek, who reckons if the Boy Scout movement ever sells its motto, "Be prepared," it would have to sell it to him. So give us a very quick guided tour of the jacket.
We got murine, we got Disprin, stubby holders, Bundy glass, cough medicine, baroccas, bottle opener, corkscrew.
Yeah, here we go. I'll take over here, mate. Knife and fork there. There's a total mini bar complement there. There's toothpaste and there's straws, toothbrush, a tinny holder, shave cream. What else we got? Spin it. Oh, no, hang on. Here we go. Look at this. For the man in the bush. Sorry to touch your bum there, Hayden. All right, spin around. Thanks, mate. But it is a tough job. You got one of the toughest jobs, haven't you?
Oh, it's a good job, though, mate. We're having a ball.
You're still enjoying yourself?
Oh, I haven't had this much fun since we buried Nana.
All this just so these corporate cowboys can go back out and do it all over again.
Today's total distance is 540 k's. This is a run from Newcastle Waters to Victoria River Crossing. Apparently the first section, the morning section, goes along an old stock route.
Indeed, today we tear up the famous Morangi Stock Trail. It may well be a piece of pastoral history, but the dust still tastes awful. Now the winner won't be the fastest car, nor the most skilled driver. The winner will be the one who bribes and cheats the most. So it's hearts and wallets that count. And of course, little fundraising diversions like this random breath test unit, a la Aussie Outback.
Test comprises knocking down 3 of those 4 cans. There's a maximum penalty of $75. And the penalty is reduced by $25 for every can you knock down. So you was nearly fined $50 for knocking down 3 cans and taking this event too seriously. $50? And for being sober and not enjoying yourself.
Again, the locals come to see what all the fuss is about. For the visitors though, more juice. Out here, liquid gold. A whopping 82.3 cents a litre. But going broke has never been so much fun.
Oh, you've got wind.
We traverse the Northern Territory in a choking, dusty heat haze. Just another glorious, carefree Sunday drive through to Victoria River Crossing. And you ask, are we having fun yet?
Amongst you, if you can't keep your head straight and hands. They look like they may resist arrest. Yeah.
very much. They told me it had been graded. Could have fooled me.
Degraded is probably a better word. But when the dust isn't taking your breath away, the scenery most certainly is. It's the edge of the territory. And moments into Western Australia and the first waterhole we're not going to drive through. Lake Argyle, Australia's biggest man-made puddle. It holds 9 times the water of Sydney Harbour and may hold the key to irrigating the outback. Once the snapshots are taken for the kids, it's time to hit the frog and toad. But personal irrigation is never far from the bashers' minds, and they can feel a celebration of a twist-top kind coming on. As the weary catch a few winks, one man heads off into the eerie darkness of the Kimberleys. Armed with a torch, a map and a sadistic sense of adventure, road director Clint Dawkins charts our course.
I'm pegging out the route that the cars will travel today on this special section, looking for areas that there might be washouts or any sort of problem that they might come across along the track.
Clint plotted this course from start to finish. He's travelled it 5 times now in search of tracks that will entertain the bash in a most traumatic way.
It's a case of just finding the most interesting drive for the fellows to travel that day.
Tomorrow, he admits, is the worst and the dirtiest of the worst and the dirtiest roads. And believe me, the bashers love it when Clint talks dirty. The driver was just telling his busload of innocent tourists about the bushrangers who used to ride this trail. Cruel irony that moments after the legend is told, they're hijacked by a charity-hungry basher disguised as a modern-day Robin Hood.
We're holding you to ransom. We're raising money for the underprivileged kids of Australia, so dig deep. Come on, we've dug deep. We've got no bottoms in our pockets anymore. Thanks, boys and girls. Have a nice trip.
Thank you.
There we go, we didn't do too bad. A miserable mob of buggers, look, there's only a couple of notes.
And highway robbery seems to be all the rage out here.
Right, we have a small problem here. Some buggers knocked off the Give River sign.
But having no direction in life has never been a problem for this motley crew. You see, we just make it up as we go along. The next 2 days will take us to hell, and if we're lucky and careful, may bring us back. The track into Mount Barnett is truly the toughest road of all. Every car is mechanically inspected before doing battle with Mother Nature's Australian Bureau. In this bash, there's only 2 rules. 1, you must have fun. 2, apart from 1, there's no rules. But then, in the outback, philosophies mean little. It's kilometres that count. And today, there's 400 of them. This section is as spectacular as it is cruel. We'll develop a most memorable love-hate relationship with Mount Barnett. The bashers will love her. The cars will hate her.
So how about look at that, boys? Well, the thing is that these little springs broke here, look. I'll tell you what. Spring hangers, both sides.
Good old Aussie ingenuity and good old Aussie gum tree. I think the gum tree is better than the ingenuity, but there you go.
This unstoppable flotilla has carved such an obvious impression right across the continent. But it hardly stirs this awesome, real-life picture postcard. As with the early pioneers who conquered this last frontier, the bashers, battered and bruised, eventually reached their destination. Accommodation, well, it's not the Hilton. Food, well, it's not 5-star, not exactly. Refreshments, bring your own. And toilets, dig your own. The day was long. The night will be longer. Now this is no ordinary sunrise. Today we'll follow the sun to the west. By the time it slumps into the Indian Ocean, we'll be there to watch it from the beach just behind the finish line in Broome. But first, some early morning repairs. Take 200 odd cars, 1,000 tired troops, truckloads of frustration and anxiety. Put them on the world's worst outback track, add blistering sunshine, roll 3 cars, damage dozens of others, and no pub for hundreds of kilometres. And you have the 12th and final day of the 1989 Red X Bash. And our final 367 kilometres of bashing. Oh hum, nice day for a swim anyway. Excuse me, are we still having fun? No traffic jams, no intersections, and no transit lanes. Just these amazing anthills to keep us company. And the famous water-storing boab trees. First, onto the bitumen. The old Land Cruiser. Oh, what a feeling. Broome is just over yonder. We think we can, we think we can. And you know what? They said we'd never make it. Maybe they were right. 6,100 kilometres from the Pacific to the Indian, along the dirtiest, dustiest, boggiest, rockiest, muddiest roads the organisers could find. And now it's a case of being so close and yet so far. You see, 30 kilometres that way is Broome, the end. And what's here to greet us? Not dancing girls and cold drinks. Oh no, that'd be too easy. Instead, more police and more huge fines.
Do you want to go into town? It's $5.5 grand.
I'll give you a cash cheque for $2,000 an hour.
Bribe. If ever I've seen one.
This is for charity, isn't it?
That's a bribe if ever I've seen one.
This is going to help the handicapped children.
That could be a fraudulent cheque. I'm not accepting that.
C'est la vie. C'est la bash.
Is this the shottiest bunch of cars you've ever seen?
I think they did a marvellous job to get here. Certainly did.
I think you might have to arrest a few of them for noise.
About 300. So I'm delighted that we've got here.
It's been a great trip.
Give us another week and we'll start again.
Oh, we had a scream of a time. It's fabulous. All these people up all over the place. It's a really good time.
And these chariots of charity have raised well over $2 million for the children sponsored by the Variety Club. They've been there and done that. The red dust. Then there was the black dust. Heaps and heaps of thick dust. Now, it's time for the bull dust.
What was that?
We got here on one gear.
How many did you have to start with?
About a half.
The biggest part of the trip was when we had to drive over Ayers Rock. I thought that was pretty hard.
We put the top of the tree back on the bottom bit, so it was all right. So it works. It should work all right.
I've worked it out. I think there's 70,000 pounds of deer being drunk on this thing. But none by this car.
Oh no, mate! I just went for a Chinese last night for a change.
This is a 1955 Plymouth.
Wasn't it Bondi?
Well, it's close. It's just different colour. I've painted it.
After the Broome procession, most cars are pushed onto trucks for a comparatively easy journey home. Just one official task remains. Maestro, please.
The winner of the award this year is Ken Jolly in car 999.
The Lucky Cat car not only won overall, but collected the award for raising the most money, some $90,000.
Children are our business, and it was a great pleasure for us to be able to adopt the Variety Club as our #1 charity.
So the 1,000-odd bashers are much more than frustrated ralliers. And what does drive them?
Well, just simply having a bit of fun. And that's what this is all about, just having fun.
Well, I guess you've got to be a little bit mad. The most question I've been asked by people who haven't been involved in the thing is, what do you think of while you're driving all those hours, you know, down with straight roads and everything? We just think of the children.
They think of the children and what their futures hold. Just think of the children who have the toughest road ahead of all. Days unfold before them, the challenges are met. Beyond the black slum and the territories, a rally never to forget. They think of the children and what their futures hold. Just think of the children who had a toughest road. Courage and to friendship and to the fun-filled days gone by. So as they offer up a prayer for the little light to guide them through, a silent prayer throughout their odyssey is being answered for them too. It's just for the children and why
I'd just like to thank everybody here for a great bash. Oh, pardon me, thank you.
Yes, it's been really good.